All right, welcome to math. This is Mr. Gable, and here are the things that you're going to need today. It's pretty standard. You're going to need your iPad, your math notebook, pencil, and your recording practice journal. And for some of you, you might want your 1/4-inch grid paper, which I will put in the folder for you to print out. All right, let's get started. So today, our title, so grab that notebook. We're going to write in our title. Make sure you're putting it in your table of contents. That's that surface area. And really our learning target today, you're going to work to have a better understanding of how to calculate surface area. So we're going to take some three-dimensional shapes. We're going to transpose them as two-dimensional shapes. That's called a net. And then we're going to be able to break down those sides and really calculate surface area. I think you'll like this. I think it'll make a lot of sense. So let's get started. How are the components of area and surface area similar, and how are they different? All right, so you've had a little chance to think on that. Really, area, for me, when I think about this question, I really think that area is you're finding that each surface, you're finding that area, length times width, and then you're adding it all together, so it's talking about the surface area of. So a little different. Area, we just find area of like a square or rectangle. We just find the space inside, length times width. Surface area, we find all of the different surfaces, the areas of the different surfaces, and we add them together. All right. So here is my first question for you. I've got 4 of them. Find the area of these 4 shapes. This is just area, straight up area. This is just a good review. Pause the video. All right, so let's take a look. Here are your answers. So 4 times 15, 60 centimeters squared. 8 times 12, 48 inches squared. 6 times 6, 36 feet squared. And this one, remember that our formula for triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so base times height, 24 divided by 2, 12 centimeters squared. There we go. All right, good review on how to find area. Make sure you know both of those formulas for triangles and for rectangles and squares. All right, so what is a rectangular prism? We talked about that yesterday. You drew them out. Go ahead and sketch one for a quick review. And then see if you can take that 3-dimensional rectangular prism and draw it in 2 dimensions. So I'd see every side, only it'd be flat. So if I cut that out and folded it up, it would make that rectangular prism. See if you can do that. Pause the video. This is where that 1/4-inch grid paper might come in handy. See what you can do. It's kind of a fun little exercise. All right, so let's continue on. So next thing is draw these in 2-dimensional representation of the prism, and then find the area. If you're not certain how to do this, don't worry. You can give it a go, or you can just go on with me to the next slide. This should be in your notebook, by the way. All right, so here we are. This rectangular prism, this is what it looks like. So there's that 4x3. So that side right there, 3x4, 3x4. And here's the little one, 2x4, right there. And so on and so forth. And then you can talk about their parallel sides, and that there's 2 of each one of them. And then we can start to work on that. The surface area of this figure, when we calculate all the sides, would be 52 centimeters squared. All right. So here we go. This one here, number 2, the only difference is that we have to find the area of the triangles. And then we have the other ones are rectangles. So this one is 7 by 5 are these dimensions here. So just figure that out, and if you do, you get it right. And I'm going to break this down for you in just a minute, but that's 96 centimeters squared. All right, let's move on to the next one. So again, we've got these where you can practice drawing these out in 2-dimensional. That net is what it's called. And add that into your notebook. And then let's go ahead and calculate the surface area. You can pause the video, and I'll be right back with you. All right, here we go. So we drew these out. We find the area of each of these sides separately, and then we can add them all together. And when we add them all together, we then will have the surface area. All right, so copy this into your notebook. Make sure you have it. This surface area is 468 feet squared, and this one here is 104 inches squared. Now, surface area of a solid is the sum of the areas of all its faces. And you can use a two-dimensional representation of a solid. It's called a net. So this right down here, this drawing right here, that is a net because it is a two-dimensional drawing that represents a three-dimensional figure. So that's called a net. And surface area is measured in square units. All right. So find the surface area of the rectangular prism. Go ahead and do that. You can do that however you want to do that. If you want to make the net or if you want to just calculate, I'm going to make the net for you. So here we have the net. We have the top and the bottom. Those are each 28 inches squared. And then the front and the back. So front and back in green. Those are each 21 inches squared. And then each side is 12 inches squared. And when we add all of those together, we get 122 inches squared, or square inches. So that is the surface area of the figure. And if you see, really, that net really allows us to visualize, because here we have that 7 by 3, 4 by 3, 7 by 3 again, 4 by 3 again, and then the top and the bottom are different, 7 by 4 and 7 by 4. That really makes it very, very easy to see. All right, I'm going to give you some more examples. Go ahead and write these in your notebooks and calculate them. Pause the video and then check your work. All right, so here's another net. We've got the front, the back, top, bottom, side, and side. We've got those all labeled out. We're coming up with 150 centimeters squared, and that is the surface area. All right, now triangles are a little different. Surface area of the triangular prism. So go ahead and draw that net. Open that all up, and then let's see what we get. Write this in your notebook, please. So when we open that up, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, we've got two triangles, and then we've got a bottom, and we've got the sides and the side. Okay, and when we break that down, we've got the bottom is coming in at 12 by 8, 96. 1/2, 12 by 5. There's that triangle. Now we have two of them. So what we could do is we could skip on one of them. We could skip the dividing by half. But just to be real clear here, I want to show you both of those. And then here's the dimensions of the sides coming in at 104, the blue side. And then this other side here, which is 8 by 5, that comes in at 40. Add all those areas together. So those are the area of the different faces. And now that gives you 300 square centimeters. All right, a lot of the same here. So just to repeat, net of a triangular prism, there's what it looks like. That net is it's that 2D representation of a 3D. So if I were to cut this out, this right here, I would be able to fold that up and to make a triangular prism. All right, we just looked at how to calculate one a second ago, so we'll keep on rolling. So find the surface area of the triangular prism. Go ahead and do that however you want to do that, and I'll see you on the next slide. Okay, so here is my net, and here is each side written out. So we have all of these different dimensions, and these are the numbers that we have here. We end up with 545 inches squared. So the surface area is 545 square inches. Put that in your notebook, and let's keep on rolling. Pause the video at any time. All right, so now this one I'm going to do a little differently. So I've got two boxes here. They're pretty much identical. And this is what we looked at earlier in the year. But if you don't take the time to make a net, you can really look at that this dimension here is 4. This dimension right there is 4. And so if that is true, we've got 20 by 4. We have this side that's 20 by 4, and we have this other side, it's parallel side that's 20 by 4. So we have two of those sides. So we're going to take 20 by 4 times 2. That's 160 inches squared. Then we've got this face here, or side, which is 6 by 4, and that parallel side is on the back of it that we can't see. And so we've got 6 by 4 times 2 for each face, so that gives us 48. And then we've got this top and bottom, which measures 6 here and 20 along the long edge. So that's 6 by 20. We've got 2 of those faces, so we multiply by 2. We get 240. We add that up, we get 448 inches squared. All right, so there's another way to do it instead of drawing out the net. Go ahead, make sure that's in your notebook, and then let's take a look at this next one. Same way. So here we just really took the dimensions of the faces. We've got this face here, which is 15 by 8. I know that because this side is 8, so that means this length is 8. So 15 by 8, its parallel side is on the back, where we can't see. So we'll take that times 2. And then we've got this smaller face here, 4 by 8. And we've got its other one here on the far back side. So 4 times 8 times 2, because each side. And then that gives me 64. And then the tops, this longer side is 15, and this shorter edge is 4. And so we have 15 times 4 times 2, coming in at 120. Altogether, 424 inches squared. Make sure to add that to your notebook. There's another way to do this. All right. So go ahead and pause the video. Do these 6 problems in your notebook. This is a really good test. There's a lot of measurements here. Make sure you get the measurements right. Really think about things. And then pause the video, do this work, and then see you on the next slide. All right, so here are some answers for you. You can pause the video and look at that. I'm not going to read through those, but I think you should be getting the idea. I personally like drawing out the net, especially for the triangular ones, and then labeling things. That's me. For the rectangular or square ones, I can kind of do what I did on that previous slide with the boxes. So with the triangular prisms, I really want to draw out the net. All right, so there are your answers to those 6. And now here we are. We're wrapping it up for the day. Here's our mini assessment. You've got 4 problems. These are your last 4. Pause, and then you can do these, and I'll check your work with you in just a few seconds. So here are your answers. Again, you can see those. I don't need to read those to you. But if you're understanding how to break these down, this is where that 1/4 inch grid paper could really come in handy. If you can't print it, you can certainly drop that into Notability and then draw these on that grid paper to kind of help you make sense of them. You can draw them out as nets, or you could just draw and try to label the sides. However you want to use that 1/4 inch grid paper, that will work for you. So that is our lesson for today on finding surface area. Many of you, this is going to be a review from what we did in the fall when we were talking about this in our 5th grade standards, and now here it is again in our 6th grade standards. But we should really probably be getting good at this after doing all these problems in today's lesson. And then the last thing that I have for you is go ahead and go to pages 225 and do pages through 228. Again, the folks that do this are probably going to really perform well on the test, the unit test, in a few days or a week. And then go ahead and head on into Big Ideas and do your lesson for today. So thanks for tuning in and paying attention, and I hope this was very helpful. If you have any questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me so that I can help you with any of these problems. All right, take care.